Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Adobe Live, everyone. Hello, Michelle and Cody. Hi, Paloma. And hi, Colby, I think I see. Hi, Raj. Welcome back, guys. Hey, chat. It's good to see you guys in there. We are back for day 2 with the brilliant Brijhette. And I am so excited. Yesterday, if you guys tuned in, we did some awesome work in XD, making an amazing GIF and talking about, assets for marketing assets for a small company. And you know what? We're going to do some awesome work today. I'm so excited. Brijhette, how are you doing?
Doing good. I've got some tea, I've got some water, had
Nice.
breakfast, ready to go.
Perfect. Excellent. Yes, everybody who is joining us, grab some tea, maybe some coffee. We're here to learn and have a great discussion. So before we get started, I'd love to take a look at what's happened and what's about to happen. So we had an awesome morning with Brandon and Paul Tranny. Not Brandon and Paul Tranny, Brandon Gross and Paul Tranny. They don't have the same last name. And then we did some awesome illustration with Julia and Tyler. And now here we are with Brijhette. And right after Jesse's going on for the XD Creative Challenge, we'll talk about the Creative Challenge a little bit more. If you guys know about it or have done it, keep doing it. If you are new to the stream, go check that out. The tab right next to chat. Some good stuff in there. But that's going on. And then finally we'll wrap up with doodle therapy, which I just think is the best name for a segment. Just doodle therapy. It's what I need constantly. And yeah, that's our schedule. That was yesterday and today, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really good day, I think. Anyway, so we're going to do some XD work today. Brijhette, how do you feel about XD work?
I like XD work. I use XD every day for my job, and great to share some tips and tricks with you guys as well. So
Brijhette is actually a senior designer here at Adobe, and what a pro. Truly the proest of all the pros. If you guys have any questions for discussing any of the products, specifically XD and Photoshop, which we worked in a little bit yesterday, we got to see some crossover between those platforms, and it was pretty cool to see. So this is your chance, everyone in the chat. Happy Tuesday, Brijhette.
Yeah, same to you, Alexis. Good beginning to the week.
Yeah, and if anyone's watching on YouTube, just right off the bat, that's great. Jump over to Behance. Come hang out with us in the chat. We're having a great conversation. We're hanging out with Quinn. We're hanging out with Cody. We're hanging out with Norris. Where's everyone from? I'd love to know. I think it's always fun to know, and it's always great to know if you're eating dinner or breakfast or it's 4 a.m. and you're tuning into Adobe Live. Let us know where you're tuning in from and what time it is there. So I'll keep an eye on the chat with so many great questions you have. I can't wait to hear them. And Brijhette, I'm ready to keep learning from you.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to get started whenever you guys are.
Let's do it.
All right, looks like we're doing it. Okay, cool. So today we're going to be working with a plugin, which is one of my favorites. I use it all the time, and it's called Google Sheets for Adobe XD. So it is exactly what it sounds like. We are going to be connecting the power of spreadsheets with XD so that we can kind of quickly iterate on content and quickly change things out. It'll make life a lot faster, and it'll allow you to just get a lot more done instead of going in and manually doing every single little bitty thing. So I'm very excited to share this plugin with you and tell you more about it.
I love the idea. I love Google Sheets and I love XD separately. A lot of the times I haven't had a great use case for merging them, and I'm really excited to see it. There are a lot of times I'm like, okay, I just have a list here that I want to drag, but I would love to see how you'd use it as someone who works at Adobe, as someone who's really found a great use case for it.
Yeah. So mainly, I've been using it with my current work with email design. So a lot of times we'll design these really, really large email campaigns. And so it's just super nice to, instead of having to go in an XD, every single artboard, every single file, and manually update the copy, the headlines, the footers, all of that stuff. We just use a giant spreadsheet and we just connect that to XD. And so what that allows is like when you're working with copywriters or other content strategists, you can kind of allow them to have their own cycle for the speed at which they want to do the work. While as a designer, you can be, finessing out the details, making sure that the margins are right in the emails, things like that. And then you can kind of merge them more seamlessly. So you're not doing a whole bunch of rework on, 100 emails or these kind of giant XD files. So it's been a lifesaver for me and for my team.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see what we have some chat coming in where people are coming from. We're learning where everyone's coming from. We have someone in Singapore right now tuning in. Awesome. It is 3 a.m. there. Good for you. Hopefully,
it's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if you're up early for work or this is your time to do all your learning around XD, but way to go. We have
right
a
on.
person tuning in to 2 p.m. and it's tea time. Perfect. It's tea time. It's coffee time.
There we go. All right. There we go.
We're drinking our liquids and staying hydrated. Excellent work, everyone. And looks like we have someone from Brazil. Welcome.
Nice.
Love
Awesome.
it. Well, chat's just gonna keep on going.
For places to go.
Oh man,
great.
That sounds really good. Yeah, if we could do an Excel or a spreadsheet of all the places we want to visit, I'm sure that would be a very large spreadsheet. Well, awesome.
Cool.
Can't wait to see how this fits in to this workflow that you're going to show us.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of get started with a basic overview. Some of these things might change as we, because we're live. And I want to kind of get the participation from the chat. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to design some very basic social media tiles. My general idea is to do 2 for Facebook / Instagram, which is just a square, maybe 2 for LinkedIn, which are a little bit longer, and maybe 2 for a website, which can be really any shape or any dimensions. Then we're going to kind of just choose some different products, maybe different products in the same category. So if we chose furniture, we'll go and hunt for images of chairs and beds and things like that. Then we will kind of give all of those products a name. So we kind of have like a fictional small business in our mind, give all of those products names, perhaps a couple of ratings, prices, sales language like BOGO, 20% off, something like that. Maybe it's around a holiday like 4th of July, Independence Day, Christmas, whatever holiday you like. Then we're going to add all of that content to the plugin. And we're going to just experiment with swapping out that content using the plugin in XD. So that's kind of the general outline of what I hope that we will go through today. But I'll kind of leave it up to whoever's watching and Alexis to kind of steer it towards the most interesting parts of that. So
absolutely. In chat, yes. Any parts along this path, right? We're really going through a workflow that is geared around a marketing team per se, and and we're gonna do some work in between all these different steps. So if there's anything that's really like calling to you guys or any questions you have around a certain topic, now's the time. And we'll do that as we go. But yeah, I'm glad to see all of you in the chat. I hope everyone's doing well. Not just with design. I hope everyone's just doing well in general.
Yes.
It is Tuesday. It's a Tuesday in July during a very weird year. So I'm just hoping everyone's doing well.
Yep. Sending good vibes to everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive in here, at least kind of get an overview of what the plugin is going to help us to do. I've kind of given an overview already. This here is the website for the plugin, so Google Sheets for Adobe XD.impeccable.com. And I'll just kind of show you a little bit about, what it does. So the first thing, if you're kind of following along, you will want to install the plugin. It works fine for both Windows and Mac. So just install it, click it, and it'll be in your XD ready for you to use. And then here we can see that they've provided us with a little bit of direction on how to format a Google Sheet. We'll go into that in more detail. But I do recommend to kind of format the Google Sheet first. I think that helps because you can always add stuff to it, but you can kind of at least test it out and make sure that it's working. I like to always test, make sure I have everything ready. Then you'll kind of prepare your XD file, and then we'll start to run the plugin. So kind of just to get started, I've already opened up the format that they've suggested. So here we go. So you can see that we have a bunch of content in here. Let's see, they also have an XD file, which I don't think I downloaded. Let me see if I can do that quickly. So that folks can really see exactly what's happening. Otherwise, it's a little...
And these are just like the templates they give.
Absolutely, yeah. These are free for you to use. Yep. Okay, I think it's very helpful to have a visual example before we start on our project. Okay, so here you can see that we have an XD file, and it's just, it's like your standard, Instagram-esque type of thing. And we've got a bunch of things here that we might want to change. We've got the username. We've got this rating here. We've got the title of the post. We have some text underneath that. We have the date posted. And then we have the same type of thing being replicated here. You can see here that this one here is just one. And then this one here is kind of blocks of them. So the plugin can use blocks as well. So that's really great because then you could just be like, phew, and then you're done, which I'll demonstrate in a minute. And then you also have one that's repeat grid. So repeat grid is great in XD because it allows you to kind of quickly duplicate a bunch of things that are the same. So just kind of showing folks here, you can kind of just make one and repeat them all, and boom, time and life are saved. So
absolutely. Oh yeah, life for sure. So much time is saved.
So much time, yeah. And so we can see here, let me show you some more things about this file. Let's see, when I click on the layers of this here, like say I clicked into here, you'll notice that some of the layers are titled what it is, right? And that's really helpful just for your own organization when you're setting up these files. You don't have to do that, but it does help. And I'll show you why in a moment. So yeah, let's kind of just take a look and see what the plugin website provides us so that we can all get a feel for how the plugin is working. And then after that, we can dive into kind of making something on our own. So here is the plugin here's the spreadsheet that they provide for us. And so what we're going to be doing is you see all of this text. So all of this text, and there's even images, images from Unsplash here. We're going to populate that entire artboard in one go. And it's going to be freaking awesome.
That's
okay.
Awesome. Can we go over kind of like when, just if anyone's just joining us, when would be a really great time for this to be used, and how this can be used, just how maybe even just your team uses it one more time for anybody who's just...
Yeah, sure, definitely. So we use this a lot when we have very large email campaigns, either emails or maybe like notifications, the notifications that come onto your desktop, or maybe banners, because a lot of times we're doing things that are across applications. And so, I work primarily on Photoshop, but Photoshop growth, but, we do stuff with like many apps, like a campaign that will touch all of the apps or everything in Creative Cloud. And so, everyone knows how many apps there are. There are quite a lot. And so what we like to do is if there is, like a lot of different copy for all of the different emails, or all of the different banners, or all of, you have images for each of them as well. Right. We'll kind of put those things into a spreadsheet here, and then kind of pipe it into XD towards the end. So then you have kind of like the copy is all, a copywriting team or a content strategist team. They'll be able to kind of work on these things independently and easily swap things out without it causing like, for example, if we were doing it kind of the old way, I would, say there was one change from over here. Right. I would have to go through each and every email, which sometimes there are dozens, and do this, change the text each time.
Right.
that's kind of rough, so
That is rough.
try not to do that.
Right. So it's about saving time, but also having kind of a source of truth more than
Yes.
anything
Yeah.
else. So that if someone is changing, so this is again, we're working with different teams here. We're not just designers. And I think a lot of designers, when you're starting off, you don't really understand that actually you work with non-designers majority of your time. Sometimes you're only the designer on the team. Sometimes you're plugged into a marketing team and copy is king or whatnot. So it's one of those things where this is really interesting to see how it crosses, how these plugins can be cross-utilized with teams within XD. Paloma asks, is the plugin free? I do believe so.
Yes.
I do believe
Yeah, absolutely.
Plugins
Yep.
free. We all know, most people have a Google account, and XD is pretty widely available for most people. And Alaya, I can't say your name, I'm so sorry. Time and lives are saved. Yes, truth. Had to shout out your comment.
Seriously.
It's so real.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm really excited. And as you're doing that, I'm just gonna remind people that today we're gonna be looking at a daily creative challenge submission. So if anybody's not familiar, right next to the chat, there is a little tab called challenge. If you hit that, you can see there are instructions where you can clue into the daily creative challenge, which is an awesome thing that maybe you have tried, maybe you haven't. And it's a great way to flex your XD muscles. And by hitting, I think in step 2, it says click here to join the Discord. So all you have to do is really join the Discord and to submit. We'd love to see any challenges. Our challenge for today, I do believe, is coming in right after ours, but it is up on the website. It's gonna be great. I really love to see daily creative challenges. It's a good time for people to kind of, if you've never been in front of a crowd, if you've never put your work out there, it's a really easy way to start doing that, to put into practice, because that's the hardest thing for a lot of people, is just getting your work in front of people. But we'll get back to your work. Just wanted to shout that one out, and we'll come back to that soon.
Cool. All right, just to kind of extend on the comment, how to access the plugin, you can download it from the website, or even easier, you can just head right on to the plugin manager in XD, which is just denoted by a little icon here, or if you're on a Mac, it's at the top. And then you just type in, Google Sheets for XD, and boom, it's right there. And so you can install it that way as well if you're interested in it. So let's just kind of see what happens here. So with the plugin, whoops, I went back. Let's get it going here. So I have it here on the side. So what's cool is when the first time that you use it, they give you a little overview. So I purposely did not skip the tutorial because I wanted folks to see it. So, you can kind of see a little bit of how they suggest you use it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect that spreadsheet that was the sample that was provided to us. We're going to connect that via a link. And so let me head back here. So here's the spreadsheet that was provided. We're going to do share. We're going to copy the link. So the link is now copied. And then we're going to head back to XD. Oops, not that one. The other one. Okay. So we'll come back to this. Oh, go for it.
No, it's just so easy the way they've and this plugin has definitely come a long way.
Yeah. So I'm going to select this one, paste public link. So I've selected the artboard. For anyone who may have missed that, I've selected the artboard. I'm pasting that link and hitting continue. And then on the next screen, you will see that there's a first attempt to match the element in XD that we want to update with the Google Sheet content. And so this is why it's really helpful to name the layers, something similar so that you can easily find this. Because sometimes, with a big document, you'll have a bunch of these ellipse things or other elements that are not, being updated because they're not text or not content. And so it's just super helpful to just know what the thing is called, so that you can be like, boom, I'm done. Another cool thing is that you can randomize the content. And so we see here with this social media type of file, you can randomize it and have the images and text be kind of all over the place. If you wanted to do that. So that's also, a really nice thing that you can do. So yeah, let's just kind of go through and make sure that each one is the thing. So title of post, the critic score. I don't know exactly what that refers to in here, but let's just see if it's the rating or not. Let's just try it out. And let's hit apply. So the plugin is running, and you will see that all of the little avatars here and the text have all been updated.
Very, very cool.
So it's super cool. The one thing I did notice is that it looks like the Unsplash images didn't come in. So I'm curious about that, but that's something that we can probably fix. Let's just make sure that is indeed, maybe it wasn't, it's one of the rectangles perhaps, and I did not connect it. But we still see amazing, the date changed, the text changed, everything updated with the click of a button. So much time. To do this manually would really suck, So this is great. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. I wanted to make sure quickly that the images, I wanted to just kind of see what this is called, because I think it would be really cool if we can get the images in there. Okay, it's called thumbnail. So maybe I can hook it up like that. So let me gonna run it again.
Troubleshooting on the fly.
Yeah. Here's a thumbnail one. So post image. And now it's going to bring in automatically that Unsplash image.
There you go.
And there we go.
Boom. Paloma says, this is a game changer. Yes, 100%.
Pretty
awesome.
It
really is. It really, really is. And we talked a lot before about how it's how this is cross-functional around teams. There are some people who don't need to open up maybe your design file, and their whole job is to create this content or figure out names. Copy is actually really, really hard to do, especially and it takes a lot of time. So maybe they don't need to get in every single design file, but how amazing it is that you have just one source of truth that is the spreadsheet, and how quickly that happened is, it is a game changer, 100%.
Yeah. It's one of those things that if you do the work on the beginning, you set it up. There are so many projects that I've used this for. I cannot imagine doing them manually. I would be there for days and days and days and days, just updating stuff.
Yep. And sometimes you can just get into the weeds a little too much as a designer, with your words, with your content and your copy. If anyone in the chat has any other copy related plugins that they like to use, or maybe where you go to source that copy, I know it's a big struggle. A lot of people will find the default in Lorem Ipsum and just stick it in. How do you feel about that? People kind of using Lorem Ipsum for just, when they just need to fill, versus taking the time and actually figuring out some copy.
Yeah, that's a great question, Alexis. I think that as a designer, I think Lorem Ipsum is fine, or there's even a fun one we were talking about yesterday called Hipster Ipsum that my coworker told me about. It's kind of like lo-fi $4 toaster, something kind of silly. But what I think as designers, we really do have it's really on us to kind of design the entire experience, including copy. And so, if we're going to the trouble of really picking out the images and all of the other stuff, and really having a feel around that, the copy has to work with the images and the use case and the this and the that. And so I think that it's great for designers to try their hand at UX writing. You can kind of make it fun. It doesn't have to be super polished, especially if you're working with someone who is trained in that and who's a professional. But I think that the choice of copy, it's one of those things that can be overlooked from a design perspective, because it's not like an image. It's not, this beautiful, sexy interaction or something like that. But it's really, really important. And it sets the tone for how users are going to interact with your app. Absolutely. So I say give it a shot. Give it a shot. Yeah.
Absolutely. And some people have some thoughts around, I think maybe there's a Lorem Ipsum plugin. Maybe Cornell, you use that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. I totally agree with you. I think it's a hard muscle to flex as designers, but try it out because it's only going to help later. I think for me, copy definitely grounds my designs, or getting in a good headspace around what this is going to say.
Yes.
And actually, what a great way to do that is to just like it is to create wireframes and to have gray boxes to start your designs and kind of alleviate any other and set a good base and groundwork. Maybe starting on a piece of paper or Google Sheets for your copy is a great way to eliminate any of the fancy text or font you're using, and really just get down to the words. So really cool plugin for stuff like that. So I'm glad we're showcasing it.
Yeah, those are great suggestions. Yeah, so what I thought we could do now is I've kind of just I'm on Adobe Stock right now, and I thought what we could do is kind of now that we all kind of have an idea of how the plugin works, you have copy living in one place and you have the designs living in another place. Let's kind of get started with some design. I think that we can kind of just go through here, and I've picked out some, but I'll let the chat also guide me. And what we can do is I think we will create kind of a simplified version of what we choose. We don't have to get super, we don't have to get super, super crazy with the designs, but we can start to simply design a version of something that we see here with all of the elements, maybe using some funky colors, things like that. And then we can get started with the plugin. So I'm just scrolling through here. I'll kind of show what I downloaded some previews earlier. So let me just kind of open those up. Oh, they're not in that folder anymore. Let me get back out of there. So yeah, we can just kind of see what all is that I've chosen, but feel free to provide suggestions.
Yeah, so Cody said he loved the purple and the orange one in the middle. Yeah, that one was pretty cool. I don't know if that was one of the ones you downloaded, but that one was pretty.
Yeah, let's see it. Yeah, it looks really pretty too. I think I know which one you're referring to. This one?
Yeah, that one's pretty cool.
Oh,
that one's very pretty. Very now.
Yeah, very now. Oh man. Okay, I'll download it. We'll see if we can kind of like simply recreate it. Any others that people
yesterday we talked about was a plant store, right? Are we still in that theme? You want to change it up a little?
Up to the chat. I don't really care. I just want it to be something where we have a variety of products so we can experiment with.
Quinn likes the shapes and designs of the first one. I wonder if that's the first one on the first page. It's kind of like those chocolate bar looking, those fancy chocolate bars. Yeah, that one above, above.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Those look like fun chocolate bars, ones that would be like a little overpriced, but like would be put in a gift bag or something.
Yeah.
But I do like those patterns. Yeah, I hope that's the one you're talking about, Quinn. Cool.
All right, so we've got two options here. And what we're going to do is, we're going to simply recreate some of these elements in XD. It won't be as beautiful as this because this is actually an an Illustrator template. And I don't have the license for it. I'm just downloading a preview, but we can still check it out. So we got this one. We've got this one. I think that I downloaded earlier. I downloaded another kind of simpler one earlier.
Well, something really great to call out is Adobe Stock using that.
Yes.
A lot of people think, or when we think of Adobe Stock, you think stock images, but actually Adobe Stock is full of templates or design inspiration, just like you might peruse through Behance, which is, shout out Behance, you might be perusing that right now. There's also, head over into Adobe Stock to get some like actual, licensed or, actual stock templates for you to play around with. And we used one yesterday. Yeah. And it was great because it had to do with all social media assets and it all had the correct sizing. And that's a great way to start,
Super awesome.
There's really no reason for anyone to start from scratch and try to like figure out anything. Actually, everything's been done, but it's how you put that creative spin on it that makes you that makes you a designer. Very cool. Yeah, thanks for Adobe
awesome.
Stock. It has way more than just stock images, I think is the main thing there.
Yeah, and there's free images there as well. So, you don't, and I think that most accounts come with 10 free things in the beginning. So you can totally just head over there and check it out. Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just, putting some of the ideas that we have from these images into XD. And we'll kind of, hook them up a little bit later. So now we just have some ideas kind of sitting in there. Let me also get maybe, I don't think I've gotten this one yet. Let's see. Oh, no, we've gotten that one already. I think that there was one other that someone recommended. Is it this one? Nope, we've got that one. Aha, yes. Okay, so great. These are beautiful. Cool.
So we're essentially creating like a mood board of
yeah. We're gonna kind of
marketing material.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So I think we've got some ideas here, which is great. So now, kind of based on the general idea from the beginning, I thought that we could do maybe, I think that we can actually do easily 12 squares or 12 assets. My idea with that is that, perhaps a small business will have some kind of sale once a month. And so if we can kind of hook it up so that, each month they have something to kind of work with.
Right.
I think that would be cool. And then, we can kind of go from there. So right now on here, let me just make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's really small right now. Okay. So right now, these are 1080 by 1080, which is kind of the typical Instagram and Facebook size. These two. So I think what we can do is I'll do 6 in this size, and then we'll do 6 of like a standard LinkedIn size or something like that. Or, kind of a more rectangular banner. So we can get a bunch of stuff at once. So I'm just duplicating these here. Bloop. And I don't remember the exact LinkedIn size. I may have to go to the other file that we used yesterday to find that. So what I'm doing now is I'm referencing a file from yesterday that had a file from Adobe Stock. It had all of the social media sizes, the current ones, ready to go. So I don't have to like go on Google. I was already using this file, so I can just kind of use that, which would be great.
Yeah, if anybody knows the LinkedIn size, I don't know what the LinkedIn size is. To be honest with you, it's really interesting how like the changing from a social media platform to platform, like how different they are and how often they change. It's probably something you have to keep up with a lot for your job.
Yeah, totally. I especially had to do that when I was doing a lot of freelancing, because like they change every 6 months to a year. It's just like, it's a mess, So yeah, this one actually does not have the LinkedIn one, but I think Facebook would be just as good, because we're talking about social media. And so I think that we can use that, to kind of save on top. But if someone has the LinkedIn size and wants to let me know, I will happily throw it in there. It's no problem at all. If someone just comes across that. So we're going to do 1280 by 720 for this second one here. So I'm heading over here, 1280, 720. Whoops, not 9, 0. Cool. And we'll just kind of duplicate these. Okay, so this is just kind of the boring part where we're just setting up the file, nothing too exciting yet in terms of the design.
It's a part of it, just a part of it.
Yeah, just a part.
Very cool. So so the idea is for anyone who's just joining, we're creating social media assets for a smaller business in XD. It looks like we have a good amount of inspiration, and these right now are just kind of templates we're setting up for the variety of styles that Brijhette is going to create and make with us, which is going to be cool. I know it's one of those things where it's like XD is so multi. You can use it for so many different things. Yesterday we made a GIF with it, specifically like a literal GIF, which was amazing. So it's really nice to see it being used and like stretch the boundaries of what can be done in it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely in love with the software. Yeah, super easy to use, easy to extend the use cases. It's just great. All right, cool. So we've got 12 things. We've got a standard Facebook post size, and we've got a standard Instagram post size. So this is let me just make sure that this is indeed the correct size. Should be 1280. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now to save some time is I'm going to rename all of these artboards using a plugin that I used yesterday and that I use probably every day, which is called Rename It. So I'm going to rename the selected layers, which in this case is all of the artboards. And I'm going to name this kind of Instagram. I don't know what is the name of our business. I guess we don't have products,
what
right?
was the name of the business yesterday? It was
I forgot now.
like plant, the plant people. Oh no, the plant store.
Oh yeah, the green thumb or what do we have something. I'll just do the plant store, and then I'll do month. And so now we can have, we're gonna have something for each month, right? So I think that we can start with just start with month 1. So let me just name that here. So it's going to go Instagram plant store month 1, which would be January, month 2, whatever,
Right, and you can hit so many different keywords with that. You can hit.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Right, you can go with like layer name, layer height, for any reason for that. But number sequence seems like makes the most sense for me. So
yeah,
such a cool plugin. Rename It's also just like a really great way to just get it like perfect right off the bat.
Yeah. So to have to keep going and renaming stuff manually, which is a drag. We'll go ahead and rename those. And then we'll do the same thing down here, except for these will be Facebook instead of Instagram. So I'm gonna not that. We'll do Facebook, plant store month, number ascending, and we have it there.
Perfect.
Cool. So there we go. We see that they're all named like we want. Great. So now we can start with I like to kind of start setting up the text first, because then we can kind of just make sure that the plugin is working, make sure that everything is going well. So what my idea is, and the chat, feel free to help out here, is that we have kind of the basic elements that are shown here. So we always have the name of the business, we always have the product, we always have like maybe some holiday. We always have like some maybe tiny description of it, maybe like in this case it's women's jeans or something, things like that. So I think that we can kind of, and we don't have to use all of the things on every single one, but let's kind of just start throwing some of that stuff in. So that's why I put these test things in there so we can kind of start getting that. So yeah, I think I'll do, since this is month 1, it's going to be like New Year, or I wouldn't do that here. Sorry. We would do that in the spreadsheet. Sorry.
Right.
So the spreadsheets here. Yeah.
I see what you're doing. Right. So you based on other marketing assets. Based like these are the things that are always included. And so so now you can just kind of like play around with the copy, right? We were just like talking about this earlier. Now you get to kind of pick and choose what you wanted to say. You don't have to sit in and change every single thing into your XD file. You can actually like play around with it here. And you know what? This is the perfect place to do it. Just a bunch of little boxes.
Yeah. Kind of gets your focus onto the
text. Yeah.
Onto the text. Yeah. So let's give it a shot. So if as a label, like if I know that this is going to be, month 1, and I think with Google, maybe they already do it for you where you can kind of quickly get all the months. Let's see. Yeah, great. So now we have all of the months there. So this is just kind of for our reference. We can use it in our design, or we cannot, but it's nice to have it there so we know, okay, when we put the holiday in there or something like that. So yeah, let's get some stuff going. I'm going to do like a description in here, maybe a price, maybe the holiday, maybe whatever the sale is, and then we'll go and poke around for some images. So in January, I was just thinking, it's New Year's, so maybe we can do give me some title ideas,
Right.
for our plants or whatever we're gonna do.
New year, new plants.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's get like a small description in there.
This is a great task for you, chat. Like if you have any associations with these months and a fun title idea for a plant store, just shout them out. This is a great thing for a chat to do. We're just gonna fill these up though.
Yeah. So let's see, for the description, I think we could do, if there's no other like pressing ideas, I guess we can do save now on succulents.
Oh, there's some pretty good ones in the chat right now going all.
Hey, let's hear it.
For January. We hear new year, new leaf.
I love that.
Michelle said, clean out those dead ones.
Yeah.
Cody said, turning over a new leaf.
All right.
I like turning over a new leaf. That's good. That's great.
Yeah.
You guys are pros.
This is awesome.
Figure the chat. You guys are you're so good at describing and chatting away. These are where actually UX writers live. They're in the chat.
This is great. So sadly, I don't have. I only have the euro symbol available and the $sign. I would love to use like, rupees or something like that, but I don't have them all here. So I'm just going to do numbers so that we can kind of get a little bit of variety. I know that we have an international chat, so we'll just use numbers. We'll do 45. I don't know. And then the sale will be, half off or something like that. Maybe 45 is a little expensive. Let's do 20 if it's going to be half off. Cool. So February, let's get some months. We'll kind of go through 6 of them, and then we can kind of get to
cool. Yeah. February.
Yeah. Or any month, really, any one you want. So.
Yeah, February. Love. What is February?
Oh yeah, love's in the air.
That feels love is in the air. That's all y'all I got, man. I can't remember February. It was so long ago for me now. Oh, there you go.
We'll do, 26. And this will be Valentine's Day. Oops. And we'll do buy 2, get 1 free. Okay, let's get a different month here,
Look
it up.
Something like love in the green. It's Irish, right? Something around.
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day, yeah. That could work. Are there any holidays in March that the international chat celebrates? I know Carnival is pretty popular. Things like that.
Yeah, Victor said Carnival. Is that in March?
Okay. Is it March or in summer? I don't remember now. Mardi Gras is kind of the equivalent here in the US.
Right. That sounds great. Let's use it.
Cool. So I'm gonna do. There's many ways to spell Carnival, but I'll just use the German version. Carnival crazies. I don't know. And water your dance moves. I don't know. Just making up weird stuff. It doesn't matter.
No, these are really great for just kind of going.
Yeah. And we'll do 10% off or something.
Nice.
Oops, I can't. Sorry, new keyboard. Okay, there we go.
Wow, it's a lot. It's like 10,000% off.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually. Okay. Oh, I didn't have the off. Okay, cool. Let's get, I think we can get through like 2 or 3 more. Yeah. Probably, then we can start.
What is happening in April? What happens in April? April showers.
Perfect, April showers.
There you go.
Yeah.
April Fools. It's another one, Victor. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. Fool those showers.
There you go.
5 flowers today.
Perfect.
Just
perfect.
$89 is gonna be, or 89 mystery currency.
Very cool. All right, chat. We're coming up on May.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Stefan's already on darling buds of May.
I love that. Oh man. Oh. Darling buds of May. Let's get something. Let's get something.
Yeah, May. Here we go.
May the force be with you. May the flowers be with you.
Excellent.
May the plants be with you. There we go.
Plants be with you.
It's funny. I'm more of a Trek fan, but
okay.
I do love the Star Wars music. The Star Wars music is absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's see this. Let's get a price. We'll do $10. Oh no, we'll do $4 because may the force be with you.
Perfect.
And we'll do Star Wars. And we'll do, no sale. It'll just be, maybe it can be 4% off.
Love it.
4% off when you buy 2. Something like that. Okay. We have one more month. Do you guys want to do one more?
Let's do one more. Okay. It's June. June's school's out, school's out. Summertime. We got surfboards going. School's out. Perfect.
Let's see. Put the books away and the flowers. I don't know.
Oh man, I'm getting a good insight into copywriter jobs.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I am not a pro.
June, weddings, right? Weddings are a big time.
Yeah.
Good point, Michelle. School's out. Let the sun shine in. Something like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Sunshine.
I like that.
Adopt a plant for a summer. Oh, that's cute.
Oh, we're doing that. Okay. I almost put Adobe. Okay.
Nice.
So we're gonna just have some silly stuff here. We'll do $15 or 15 currency, and we'll do end of the school year. Okay. Our summer sale. There we go. And it'll be, let's do a 65 or buy 1, get 2.
Wow.
There you go.
Nice.
Make it extra generous. Okay, cool. So we've got a good start here. So I think what we can do now is we will share this. Copy the link. Okay, so the link is copied. And now I can head back to XD. And I obviously don't have all of the fields here yet, but I can at least go ahead and paste the link. Let me skip the tutorial this time since we're pretty far in advanced. I'll paste the link here. And of course we see there's something going on with the spreadsheet. So let me fix that. This is why I like to do the spreadsheet stuff first, because a lot of times stuff will happen, Okay, change to anyone with the link. It has to be a public link. I forgot to mention that. So folks, if you're doing this method, it has to be a public link, but the plugin also allows you to just download this as a CSV file. Mm-hmm. If you were dealing with something that's sensitive that you did not want to make public, you can download to CSV, right here in Google Sheets if you didn't want to share it. And then you can also link that to the plugin as well. So it does not have to be public if your content is not able to be shared yet. So just as FYI. But I'm fine with this being shared. We're just having fun here, and obviously, hundreds of people are watching, so it's okay. And so let's get it going into the public link. Go back here. I've not selected my artboards. Okay, so let me do that first. Paste the public link. Great. And so obviously, we only have one thing. But it will work. But we see here all of the things that we want in there are ready to go. So if I were to choose apply, we would see new year, new you come up.
There you go. Nice.
Cool. So I love to do like the little tests before, because then after that I can just refresh. I don't have to kind of set it up each time all the time.
Mhm.
All right, cool. So now we can get into the fun part, which I would love the chat's help with, which is designing some of this stuff. So kind of based on what someone put in, let's kind of try with this one first. We'll kind of just try to make a simplified version of this one, of one of these.
Cool.
So chat, anyone here that you really love, that we can kind of create a simplified version in a kind of compressed time frame.
Mm-hmm. And chat, while you're looking over that, remember in about 40 minutes, we have the Daily Creative Challenge. We'll have some review time to go over your daily creative challenges. If not for today's or this week's, we'll go over some from previous. But anyone who's just joining us, make sure you check out what the Daily Creative Challenge is. We have a little challenge tab right over near your chat tab. And it looks like Cody is dropping links like a wizard, and yeah, keep up your daily creative challenges. They're really good. They're a good exercise. So we'll go over those later. But if anybody has any assets here they really like, I know I'm really into the bottom right one is pretty interesting to me.
This one here?
Love that. It's like rain. It's like it's raining. It's moody.
Okay, cool. We'll make a simplified version of that. Sounds
Perfect.
Great. Cool. So I'm going to just pick the color up right from here.
It looks like Zoe says, second roll, second one with that confetti celebration vibe. Thank you, Zoe. That one's cool too. The second one, the second I think the celebratory, the second one on the bottom. Yeah.
This guy? Okay, yeah. Cool. We'll get that one next. Great. Cool. All right, so we've got this one, and let's add some of the lines to it. And make it really thick. Whoops, that's not thick enough. Let's make it 10. And I'm gonna try to pick up some of the colors right from here. Kind of makes it a little easier for us. Make it round. And I think we can make this even bigger actually. There we go. Yeah. So just kind of looking here. Okay. So I can, whoops, get closer to it. Gonna try to just recreate this a little bit. Bloop, bloop. Make a bunch of these. And I, while Alexis was talking about the creative challenges, I downloaded a plugin called Confetti. And hopefully that'll allow us to kind of get some of these fun things quickly. Nice.
Love that confetti. Love the confetti plugin. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Makes really cool things, like just great. So yeah, we're gonna kind of just wing this here, make it, kind of close to what we see. Whoops. We need quite a few more. So let me kind of get some of these, put them together.
Everyone has a bunch of different favorites. Let's see, where else? Second left from the top. Kind of looks like a party for New Year's. Maybe that'll be your January. Maybe that can be a
second left from the top.
Let's see, second left from the top. That kind of looks like the one you're making. Actually, the very end vibe. The vibe is.
This one here. Oh, sure. Yeah, great. Cool. We can kind of merge these two. We don't have to make it exactly what we see.
Exactly.
To kind of get some ideas.
Inspiration. It's a little bit of inspo. Yes. Nice. Brijhette, would you tell us your background and a little bit of your background in design?
Yeah, sure. So my professional training is in architecture and structural and earthquake engineering. So I love buildings, and I started doing design actually for kind of right out of grad school. Like many folks, I had a long job search, so a friend of mine was like, "Hey, all of your presentations are usually really nice. And I know that a lot of people would pay, big money, essentially to have really beautiful, well-executed presentations or websites." And so a friend of mine was starting a startup at the time, and she was like, "Hey, would you mind helping me with my website?" And so that's kind of how I got started.
Wow.
In design specifically. Now, of course, architecture is all about visual communications. So it wasn't really, it wasn't too far of a shift. Because architecture is about visual communications, beautiful renderings, all of that type of stuff. But to design for the web and to design for screens and things like that was a little bit different. So
Right.
yeah.
Architecture first. Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's a very, I know a lot of designers who kind of start with different paths, but it's really awesome when you can hear like architecture is in the
Yeah.
fold. And it's a big jump. It's not a big jump actually for you, for the UX community.
No,
You're
it's a lot of
essentially,
people who are doing it. Yeah.
yeah, you're essentially, yeah. So in any design form, it's you start with that training. What is your architecture? So you love buildings. So
I love
you're a
buildings.
big
Yes.
building buff.
Yes. Love buildings.
What are your favorite like cities to look up and admire?
Ooh, man, that is a loaded question.
I bet. Well, I guess I mean, I would say cities, right? Because sometimes
yeah.
I have big inspiration around that type of stuff in buildings when I'm in, and it varies from place to place. But I thought cities was a good place to start. Here.
No, totally. Yeah. Man, wow, that's a good one. I would say. I mean, it's been great living, in the Bay Area. There are a lot of what I like about the Bay Area is because it's kind of it's an earthquake engineer's dream. All of the buildings have these, not all, but many of the buildings have advanced mitigation strategies for disasters. So it's always interesting from a engineering point of view to look at the buildings here. I would say though, I spent a little bit of time in India, just a little bitty vacation a couple of years ago for my friend's wedding, and wow, the buildings in Bangalore were amazing. So just mind blown. So but yeah, really anywhere in Europe, super old, just
ones that have like stood the test of time.
Oh yeah,
that can like really, you can tell it's been there a while, and
exactly.
I bet those are really amazing to see.
Amazing, like it's mind-boggling. Earthquakes, all types of things have happened since those buildings were constructed, and they're still hanging on. It's super cool.
It's amazing, and it's one of those things where do you feel like you draw a lot of design kind of similar design strategy or like patterns, or like how do you feel like that overlaps into your current kind of work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that at least for me, I don't know, like I think what's interesting about buildings is that at least when I take photos of buildings and I share them with others, people are like, wow, I walk past that building every single day, but I never really noticed it. I never really paid attention to it. And so to me, it's almost like, yeah, I think that good design is usually, if you notice it, then it's probably, I mean, design in general, if you're really super aware of it, you're like, it's probably bad,
Right.
So buildings kind of have a similar thing, but buildings are a little bit different because something can be eye-catching and beautiful and really catch your attention, and also can be really hideous and catch your attention too. So I don't know if that's really the proper
no, I think it's it really comes down to, but I think I agree 100%. Chat, you can weigh in on this too around design. I love that statement. Like if it calls your attention, if you notice it, you're not really, somebody, I mean, that's an actual quote, like good design should be invisible. Like I forgot who said that. They're gonna take my BFA away from me because I don't remember how to say that. Who said that, by the way? So, but and that's kind of been the thought around it, around design. Good design, quote unquote. Yeah. But design is an art form in itself, and I do think there's a lot of parallels into architecture, right? It's something into UX specifically, and stuff like that involves people, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point.
Creating a space that a person can function through, and I think the same principles can be applied to products. But in terms of design, we're kind of straddling the line here between you're creating something that a lot of people will have interaction with. So I think it does fall into interaction design, UX design as well. But it's an interesting topic, and I do see a lot of parallels into architecture, absolutely, and they're in different ways for sure.
It's kind of interesting. I forget about that a lot. The connections there.
Oh man, and they're so They're so overlapping, and I love when designers are multidisciplined or have come over from different spaces, because I think there's just so much to learn from different forms of design or any creative medium, just period.
Right.
Victor asks if you had a chance for 3D design since you came from architecture.
Oh yeah, all the time. So it's funny because I'm more comfortable with that almost, especially in the beginning. Because learning how to think in 3D is it's a skill that's refined over time, that once you start to think in 3D, it's hard to think only in 2D. So yeah, that's a great question. So 3D modeling, parametric design, all over it. All over it. Great question.
Yeah, I can imagine it being much more difficult, but also now you're coming into this kind of like 2D type world, and that also being like this, like, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, 3D is easy, like 2D is hard, where everyone is like in the chat, or even myself is like, 3D, are you kidding me? Like that's a whole different thing.
A whole different ballgame. Yeah. It's hard to think in that way.
But Adobe has some pretty cool projects working with 3D. You know, Adobe Dimension. Yeah, pretty awesome. I haven't gotten to
check
play
it out,
guys. Myself, but I would. I would recommend checking it out for sure. And I know there's actually a lot of overlap into XD. That'd be a cool idea for a stream. Is pulling in Dimension into XD work.
Let me know. I'm there.
See, that was kind of while you were talking about some pretty heavy things. So
yeah, I mean, it's not as beautiful as this, but it's a good start. To kind of make all of these cool lines in there is going to take some time because it's like pen tool stuff. So I think that we're good to just start and see how this starts to look. So I think what we can do now is just revisit, what our spreadsheet says. So what are all of the elements that we've got? We've got we've got a title, we've got a description, we've got a price, we've got the holiday, and we've got the sale. So of course we don't have to use all of these, but it's probably a good idea to use at least the title, the description, and the price and the sale. I think that we can totally get that in there. And we can also use an image. That's the other thing that I kind of forgot to include. So let me just find a quick image here. I think that we had succulents for that one. So I'm just going to go on Unsplash and find some cute succulents.
Nice. While you're doing that, Kristen says, made a comment. The pattern reminds me of Saved by the Bell. And
nice. Yeah.
I totally vibe with that. And then that the 90s, was Saved by the Bell late 80s or early 90s? Gosh, I'm not even sure. But that vibe is it's definitely back.
It's definitely back. It's so back. That's awesome. So yeah, what I did, I just, I didn't even hunt for images, just picked the first one that came up, got the link. And I'm just going to drop that link right here in the images.
Look at that.
Boop. Boom.
You don't even have to download that image. You can just literally drop that link in.
Drop it in, and you're set to go almost. So yeah, let's kind of go through now here and let's kind of set up these layers. So we're missing a couple of elements like, I definitely need to add in something for the image where that's going to go, things like that. So let me just, go back here and just going to, I kind of grouped everything so it wouldn't be moving around, but I think I can ungroup that now. Okay, so we've got this element here and let's just kind of make a version of that down here. We see that one is white at the bottom on our little kind of fake one there. Get some nice text going. Boom. Okay, so we have something super basic. So I think what we can do is we can put the image in the background. I think that will look cool. Then we can have our little sale thingy here. We can put our title here and the description there or something. And maybe try that. Yeah. And we may have to move these elements around. Obviously they're like the sizes are off. But let's go ahead and just title these.
Right.
Make it easier for ourselves.
And that's the whole thing with these is that as long as that that is titled correctly, that the spreadsheet plugin can read that actual name and know where to associate this text. That's then the biggest point here that you're trying to have us understand a little bit is you can go back and fiddle with the design as much as you want, but as long as you've connected these to the spreadsheet correctly, you can keep changing. You can change that stuff so easy.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So I'm going to put the image here. Let's see. We'll just put it kind of, we've got some other stuff that is other design elements. But we'll put the image, we'll just put it here to make sure that it's going to work. And, we can get back to it in a minute and start to fiddle around with stuff. Cool. So let's start with the plugin. Let's continue. We got the link in there already. So the image, the title, and the description are there. So you see it matched for us, just like what Alexis mentioned. Apply. All right. Now we've got some stuff in there. Now the image is being hidden, so we have to go and get that.
Right. Might need to pull that up a little bit to the front or to the. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Oh, so it's like all that text, everything is just already there.
Yeah. And this is, we're only seeing it for one, but, after a minute, I'm going to kind of duplicate some of these and move them around, and then we'll have like 6 at once, so that'll be, I think that's going to be the turning point. Okay. So now I'm just looking for our image here. Maybe the image is not there actually. What's going on there? Yeah, this happens sometimes. The image may not be there or something like that.
Yeah, I would love actually to take this moment and kind of remind everybody, just another reminder, Daily Creative Challenge happening. If you've just joined the chat, we do this thing. It's called a Daily Creative Challenge. It's awesome. You can find the link in the challenge tab, and everyone is posting actually in the chat about it. And thanks, Cody, for doing that. But it's a great way to just practice. It's all about practice. It's all about just getting, the hardest thing is to just get started with anything. An idea, sometimes just like a plain idea is like simple idea to design around is like the hardest thing to generate. And these daily creative challenges do that for you. This week is Jesse Showalter, who is an awesome designer, great designer. He's all over YouTube. He's doing the challenges this week, so make sure to join. Just another reminder, chat.
Yeah, get on that. Sounds amazing. Okay, we're gonna just give it another go here. I think there was some little issue, which happens every now and again. Okay, let's just try it again. I see what occurred. I see. So sometimes I will accidentally select only one layer. And so, of course, it doesn't work. You have to select the entire artboard if you want everything to be at the same time. I'm still not seeing the image, though. Still not seeing it. Oh, no.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, we'll come back to that. I'll fix it. Don't want to.
But that text looks great.
The text is there. The text is working. Yes. I'll kind of, what I might do is just experiment with one of the images that they had and theirs, just to kind of make sure it's nothing on my end. Yeah, I think that actually that was kind of a little bit too small. I think that we can just easily, get the text for that. Turning over a new leaf. It's not as pretty as the one that we had, but we get the idea here, it's like that you can. There we go. And I don't even have a really beautiful font or anything. It's just the basic stuff. Mm-hmm.
But that stuff, is stuff that will constantly be changing as well. So,
yeah.
So you've merged over that doc, and and those words might change too. So it's one of those things. It's a good example of how collaboration works in real time.
Yeah.
Sierra has a question.
Let's hear it.
How do you start out with a new customer to figure out what they want done and what kind of effort and time that a job may take? So maybe around, especially when we're talking about like a small business, a lot of designers get started with their first ever projects are usually like small mom and pops, maybe a nonprofit, somebody, or a school project. So this is a really great question around like, how do you know what needs to get done, and how maybe you can give us some insight.
Yeah, that's a really great question. What I think there are different approaches to it. I prefer to generally start with the client just telling me everything that they like, just having a meeting dedicated to them talking about their vision for their business, kind of without all of the design language, because the goal of the designer in that case is to be a facilitator between their vision and your skills. So it's nice to kind of start off a meeting like that with just really, really listening to what they have to say. Kind of before you get into at least for me, I found this out kind of, tangentially throughout a lot of freelance projects. There's kind of this desire to get into the weeds so fast, when in the beginning, the client, they don't necessarily know all of the things that they want. And so it's about like listening and then teasing out what you think, or like repeating back to them. So what I hear you saying is that the website that you want should be X, Y, and Z. So you have these characteristics. Or what I hear you saying is people should feel this way when they go to your store or whatever. You kind of get the feelings out of them. And then that will quickly kind of become a list of deliverables,
Oh, I love it. I love that. I love that phrase.
It's kind of
right?
Interesting. Yeah.
Get the feelings out of them kind of first around.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great way to kind of to think about it and to get started with a client who maybe has never had any design, any work done for them. And this is a really great example of how you can get inspiration also for your designs. It's a great place to start, to have them have some buy-in. And who knows, you may be making all of their social media assets bright immediately after that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're having some luck here with the image. It took a little longer than I'd hoped, but I think that it was something up with the link that I chose, like the format of the link. So, but we're almost there. And the good thing about this is that you set it up, and then, the next time is a lot faster. So I'm going to just kind of, so this here was just an opacity layer that I put on top to make it, a little easier to see, but we still have like the purple in there. We still have some stuff like that. I kind of messed up my text when I went back. So we'll kind of, and another good thing, this is a great little thing. I updated this here, but I did not update it in the spreadsheet with the 50% off.
Right.
And so when I reran it,
it's going to always pull exactly what is in the spreadsheet.
Here, yeah. Which is that's kind of the point. So that was on me for kind of forgetting to make sure that was the case. And I'll be sure to capitalize it. And now when I do it, there is a shortcut for refreshing content. There we go.
Nice.
So now I can just, do a quick change there, and we have some semblance of an ad that's ready. Cool. So not bad at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Not bad. I'm just gonna kind of line things up here. There we go. So it's not like looking off. And of course, this font is the most boring font ever. So we could totally have a little bit more fun with that in the future.
Right. Yeah. And the plugin only changes your actual text, the actual text of what you've input. It's not going to change up your style. It's not going to change up kind of what you set that font to. So,
The other good thing about the plugin is that I think anyway, this may be incorrect, but I think that you can use this with, like, for example, if you wanted to add a padding here so that the text would always, the element would always be responsive to the length of the text. I believe that can be done. I don't know if the components does components just yet, but I think that the padding stuff is kind of low hanging fruit. So that might be something to try out as well. Okay, cool. Okay. So we have something that's, it's not super phenomenal yet, but we have something that is starting to take some shape. Awesome. So what I think we can do now is we can kind of just add in some more images here. Let me just kind of make sure. I'm going to use I'm nervous about something because it looked like the ones that I had weren't working. So I'm going to just copy the ones that they've given us.
Great.
I think that they have like that long form URL, which I didn't get. And so just to be on the safe side there. Whoops. I meant to get all of these. Yeah, whoops, copy this. And let's see if there we go.
Nice.
Cool. So now hopefully it won't be too crazy with the images not showing up and stuff like that. All right, cool. So I think as a first exercise, we will just copy the elements along all of these artboards and run the plugin and see what happens.
Ooh, I love it.
We'll just start like that. So I'm going to, let me just kind of make sure. So before I do a bunch of copy stuff, I like to just clean it up a little bit. We don't need these ellipses and rectangles and stuff like that. We don't need those to be out. Those can be grouped because we're not using that stuff. So I'm just going to call this design elements. So then now when I copy and paste, it's a little cleaner. Cool. So we've got the things that we want. We have this opacity layer. Okay, cool. So I think we're ready now. So I'm going to do Control and paste. I know what I did. I only got have to be the R. Yeah, I get everything. So, okay, cool. Make sure we get it. Uh-oh, that was the entire.
So yeah, that was just the artboard.
There we go. That's the proper way. Trying to move this. This is
nice. And it's one of those things where yes, this could be done in a Illustrator-esque or Photoshop space, but it's this connection to these awesome plugins and how quickly and how collaborative this XD tool is that really makes these this workflow actually work for you versus staying siloed into your own a separate tool or a separate spreadsheet. It's this merging that's really kind of opening up for a larger team or cross teams, which is really cool to see. And I can actually see how this is probably really hastens your pace with working.
Yeah, totally. Especially when you have, we're only working with a few here, but when you have a lot of these, oh man, right. It really helps. Cool. So I'm gonna apply it, and we see that they're all working. Hopefully, let's see here. I think something may have gone amiss. Let me go back to the original before, just to be sure. This happens sometimes. Okay. Hopefully, we should get them all, and let's try it out. Okay, make sure everything's there.
We have some other really good questions coming in.
Not working.
We have a question around the image. If the Catalina says, what if the image I want to use is on my computer and not
right. Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So I do have a workaround for that that I actually learned from Howard Pinsky's videos, nice. And I will definitely show you that for sure. So yeah, because in here, like you mentioned, they're all links. Mm-hmm. And there's a nice way to do it on your computer as well. And yeah, I can definitely show you that too, for sure. Yeah, happy to do that.
Nice.
I'm just now
find
currently
those answers.
Yeah.
Together, one big group think. And Jenna's comment is, workflow is so important for me, and this is great. Yep, this is we just want to show each other how we do things here.
Yeah.
That's the great essence of these live streams.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Here's how I do it. How do you do it? Here's how I do it.
Yeah. That's great. That is amazing. So let's see. We're getting some technical difficulties here. Just trying to figure that out. So sorry for the little delay. For some reason, the new content is not populating everywhere. So I'm just kind of wanting to see what the deal is.
Have to have anything to do with that?
Don't think so. Yeah, I just did that for helping myself. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Title should all be there. Price, images. Just kind of gonna. This happens sometimes, like, oh, nothing selected, of course. Okay, let me just try.
While you're doing that,
please.
I'd love to kind of share one more shout out to the Daily Creative Challenge. If anybody is needs some time to practice and wants to work through a project, I'd love to kind of show you where the Daily Creative Challenge lives. So it's currently right in Behance. So if you go to the tab above our chat, there is another separate tab, and I'm sure plenty of people have linked it already, but this is where that link drops you. So this is the Daily Creative Challenge landing site. What we have right now is, as the weeks progress, as the days progress with this challenge, different days unlock. So today's challenge is already unlocked because it is the 7th, and the stream after hours will be talking about this specific challenge, which is awesome. So you can watch the video, you get a starter file, and as the weeks go on, you have this really full and comprehensive body of work that one designer has prepared for you. So Jesse Showalter is ours for this week. And after that, when you're done, you can also make sure to join the community we're a part of. So we're also a part of a Discord, a group Discord, and you just hit join. If you already have a Discord link, it just drops you into the XD Discord. If you don't, you can sign up. It's pretty easy. It's free. And that's the Daily Creative Challenge. And so I hope you guys can find some time to do one if you're just starting to design. I really think they've done a really great job, and the designers that design these challenges are really having you in mind when they're creating them. So that's the Creative Challenge. Just had to do a quick shout out. And so we're gonna at the end of a lot of these streams, we actually review those challenges. It's one of those things where we're here for each other. It's a great example of this community and how this community works.
All right, cool. So kind of in the meantime, I tried a different method based on something that I remembered from before, where usually do that, if you all remember, kind of in the beginning where we were trying to play with the repeat grid. And so because we have so many things, it usually takes the first one. And so adding the repeat grid kind of allows us to get all of them very quickly, and then you can break them up later. So that was kind of a little trick that I'd forgotten about from earlier. But yeah, it looks like we do have all of them, and then we can break them up into artboards later. So sorry about the little technical difficulty there. But we can see that all of the text is there, and that, we would just have to kind of go through and maybe poke it around to make it even look better.
Yeah, some really easy adjustments there. But wow, all your text is there. That's pretty cool.
Yep, all the text is there. And another thing too, I didn't do it yet for this because I was figuring out the technical stuff, but a good thing is that you see how the text here is always centered in in the element. You can set all of those up and fine tune those before you ever run the plugin. And I do recommend that. I was kind of playing around here, but this long, you can set up the rules for this text here so that it never wraps. It can always be like that. You can always have this type of thing, so you don't have to have these long things. You can even do that here by setting up the character counts before you even start. So how we were just playing around, and so of course some things are going to get super long. But if you were, if you had some elements where you always wanted it to be a number and a percent sign, you could set that up. And have a rule, where here is only percentages instead of all the long stuff. And that's something we could have done at the beginning. And then you would never have this type of thing, happening. So it's just kind of an FYI. We have the first
cool.
step of it kind of there, not super pretty, but it is there.
Pretty is pretty is subjective, and it all comes together at the end.
Yeah, it definitely does. So I know that someone had the question about if the images are on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's give that a shot. What I'm going to do to kind of illustrate that is I'm going to make a completely new artboard, since that one's kind of, that one's really has a lot on it already. And I'll just make a square here. And I'm going to do a similar thing as what I just did with repeat grid. So I have this square. Let me make it 1080 by 1080 so that we can reasonably use it. Boom. Okay. So make the artboard. Make it kind of there. And kind of, whoops, bring it in here. Cool. Oh, I could have done that by just math too.
Right.
All right, cool. So say I wanted all of the images to be round and pretty. So I'm gonna just add a 5. Let's make it even more. Let's make it even bigger. Okay, we can't really see that. So this is kind of the base for the image. Let's make it really round corners. Mm-hmm. And let's do a nice repeat grid for this so that we can get a bunch of images that we're gonna bring from my computer. Mm-hmm. Now, so say I had these images kind of in the background of this, of this one over here. Just kind of pretend for a second. Okay, so now let's download some of the images that we want. So let's head over to here and we'll download this succulent one. There it is. And let's get some more. Just kind of go through. Very nice. Just download 3 so that we can play around. There we go. Cool. All right. So now we have these down here. So we see here, I'm going to just put these there in the Adobe Live folder. Mm-hmm. Now, what I like to do, if I know that I want these images to always show up in a certain order. So for example, if I always wanted this one to be in January in my artboard, mm-hmm. and the next one to be February and March and so on, you just name them like that. So I would name this one 1, because that's, it'll automatically be the first one. Mm-hmm. Then say I wanted this one to be 2. This is whatever order. So say you had an artboard, say you had, with a repeat grid, say I had 6 of these or something like that. I would name them 1 through 6 if I wanted them to always appear in that order. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So now, let's just kind of sort by name so that I can get them there. There they are. Okay, cool. So I'm selecting the ones I want. And now I'm going to go over to my XD file, make it a little bit smaller so we can see. And you can just drag and drop them in this order. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we saw that number 1 was, let me see, did it do it in the right order that I wanted or not? I don't know. It's a different order actually. So let me see. Sometimes
1, 2, and 3. Well, it did go 1, 2, and 3. Oh yeah, it didn't.
Yeah, it kind of with the other order. Usually that works really great for me. If I name them the order, it'll just do it alphanumerically. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, it didn't work this time for some reason. Let's try ABC. I don't know. But anyway, you kind of get the idea.
Right. Yeah.
The idea is that you can get a bunch of them and drop them and they all will populate. It's kind of the same trick.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's see it one more time.
Yeah, the alphanumeric thing usually works wonders for me, but it's cool. Yeah, still didn't really work that time. But.
Interesting. But typically, yeah. So typically, it just kind of, as long as you have that file name, like hooked up to the artboard necessarily, that so it's January is 1, February is 2. Yeah. Usually that will populate them for you. So in terms of if you have images on your computer you want to use, it's pretty simple to bring those guys in. Yep. I'm wondering, I think it's one of those things where, the Sheets is very much for kind of the idea of like the collaborative teams, right? So there's not all the time where you're going to be able to access your teammates' assets on their home computer. You're going to be linked up online regardless. So great question, just in terms of in terms of the using the Sheets plugin. you may not hit that use case if you're working with a larger team. Because if they're on your computer, you can always just drop them in. So
yeah. That's a great question though, because sometimes like I've done stuff where I have a bunch of Lightroom photos on my desktop, and I want to populate a bunch of things with Lightroom photos. And so because they're my personal photos, I don't have those, readily available as linked. They're not hosted on a server anywhere. This is a method that I use to kind of drop them in alphanumerically in an order that I want. Good question.
Great question.
Yeah.
And I see we're coming up on the countdown pretty quickly.
Cool.
Looks like we're at the design feedback. The countdown has ended.
Okay. Dum dum dum.
Don't be afraid. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna do great, you guys. The challenge for today does come up today. So so right after this stream, Jesse Showalter will be going through the creative challenge with you to start the week off. Just like kick off that week of fun creative challenges. But until then, we may not have any for this week. But what we are going to do is we're going to check out the Discord, which once you're a part of, you can be a part of this Discord server with us, all around XD and working XD, and it's a really great resource. We're going to check out some past challenges that our users and our chat and our community has created, which will be fun. Yeah. So this is the Discord. Right now we're going to check out some past challenges, like I said, and right now let's just jump on in. Let's see here. So let's check this out. So this was a previous challenge, and a lot of the times we just get, people drop in links. This is really cool. This is an actual share from an XD file, which nice. Is an amazing resource that XD has. And what's really cool is that we could actually make a comment on this file, on this actual link that this user has created. So why don't we do that? Let's do that for this. Nice. Check this out though. Generally, it looks like it's in a shoe app. Which is fun. Love that. Any thoughts right off the bat?
Yeah, I think this is looking great. Let's see. I'm not seeing the screen.
So just no worries.
Oh yeah, I got it. Got it here. Got it. Cool. I just minimized the window by accident. Okay, cool. I remember the first time that I just saw the link. I really like the 3 steps at the top. That is always an excellent marker to help users know what they're doing, what they're coming up next. So
totally. Yeah. Like you definitely having kind of knowing where you are in your onboard or in your payment process is really important. I think there are, as this user, we can see maybe this is maybe one of the first things they've designed. We have a little bit of some spacing issues. You can tell there's something also to remember is what is this phone? What are we using to showcase this? What phone size? And if it is an iPhone, 10, we have a little notch up here. So just kind of be mindful of that. And I guess it's something to be interesting. We can make a comment here. So I'm actually commenting on an actual XD shared link, which if dropped anywhere, anybody can submit. So just maybe watch for the notch. And let's do watch for the notch. Okay. And so what's really, of course. So what's really cool about this is that, it's just like, we're just going to do a little share around XD shared links. So in XD, you can share an actual link out to the public, and the public who reaches it, maybe they don't have an XD ID or an Adobe ID. Maybe they're just like some random person on the team. So my name is Alexis. You can actually comment as a guest, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
There I am as a guest on this XD shared link, commenting on this user's prototype, which is pretty cool. And that's really neat. So I would say a couple things, right off the bat for this is, yes, we have a little bit of spacing issues at the top, at the bottom. We have the notch that we need to be aware of. In terms of the design itself and the color usage, I think you did a great job, with your text on, we have dark background, light light text. We can read it pretty easily. And yeah, is there anything you want to comment on?
Yeah, I think this is looking good. I might encourage the person to maybe just try and experiment with like a keyboard pop-up, as someone's typing the card number. That might help, or typing in the expiration date or the address or things like that. Kind of one screen with the keyboard shown so that it's kind of obvious that these are interactive. Sorry, can't talk today. Yeah.
Very cool.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm glad we clicked on an XD shared link so we can kind of showcase that feature as well. Let's check out some more on the Discord. So like I said, that was an XD shared link, and which really cool. He just dropped that in. So these are past challenges. So let's check out like a couple more, and then we can maybe jump back into what you're doing. And let's see, this one looks pretty fun. So another way people will share on the Discord is sometimes they'll just upload straight an XD prototype movie, right? This is obviously what this person's done, which is cool because we get to see actually all that animation and movement.
Nice.
I know, this one's awesome. So because this is a past challenge, I'm thinking this user had a little bit more time to go through and kind of, clean it up, because this is awesome. Wow. Really stellar stuff.
I don't even need shoes and I want to buy these.
Right? Exactly. Yep. So there's some really fun animation happening. If anything, and there's not a lot to necessarily say. I think this is a really well designed prototype. There's a lot going on. So I think this is really true to a lot of purchasing or any type of app where you have to buy something. It's always around like, how do you make sure you're sharing enough information that people can make an informed decision, but also that it looks nice and clean. I think this person has done a really great job in kind of balancing that. You have a little bit of some of your information hidden away. You're able to kind of swipe through and see different sizes. There's an option to see specs and reviews, but right now we're just checking the overview. So really great job with information. There you go. Some information sharing.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All in XD. Boom. Into the cart.
Love the little cart. Yeah, that was great. Little micro interaction.
Very, very cool. Very cool. So like I was saying, this is so we're right here in the Discord, and that was a past challenge that someone has really been able to kind of dive into. Let's check out one more from a past challenge. That way we can just, give a little bit of feedback. Let's do this. Let's do this ice cream one.
Aw, yum.
I know. It's so sweet. Cool. Swiping through the flavors. And swiping through the cones. I now want ice cream.
Man, this is like the best of the best solid ice cream, $4. Probably just a placeholder for price, but just kind of made me laugh,
Right. Really great example of copy and how, it's like, that really, obviously, these are examples. These are fun exercises, but copy really brings a person into the realistic nature of what you're creating, or brings them right out. So right now we're assuming it's a really expensive ice cream, but we know that it's maybe just a placeholder.
Yeah.
Okay. So right off the bat, any words around color or typography or overall layout?
Yeah, I really like the rounded corner up at the left corner. I think that I kind of actually like the typography for the titles, like the strawberry lemon, the flavors.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's because the font, this typography is kind of, it has like very specific kerning. It looks well at these smaller scales. Like I can clearly read that it's strawberry lemon, which may not be the case if the strawberry lemon was written in the Scoops font, where everything is kind of the same, it's all kind of very standard. So I kind of like the font has like a little bit of funkiness to it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, but it's not so much that it's, like hard to read.
Absolutely. As somebody who kind of, we were just going over sales, XYZ, like in terms of selling selling a product on or something through a mobile app, what are some like pitfalls or like advice you would give this person?
Yeah.
Because I noticed that we talked a little bit about that price at the
Right.
bottom. I wonder if there's anything else this person could do.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I got a little bit confused about is like the difference between the Italian ISIS and the rest of the thing. So I wasn't sure if the Italian ISIS, like for example, if I chose a flavor like cherry, would all of the cones up, you know what I mean, update? So I just wasn't sure about that interaction. In terms of the sales, I think that adding some prices so that it's clearer. Like I see different types of cones there, but I don't know what prices those have, or if there's a deal on any of them, or
Right.
if there's a special going on. So like sometimes you can just denote very quickly a special by having like something in kind of like the top right hand corner of the little the white box there to be like, hey, this is a sale, or having that one being shown first, or just little things like that you can kind of experiment with.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's looking good.
Looking really good. Yeah, it's a really interesting concept around maybe how do you this is obviously like a mom and pop ice cream shop. Like how do you how do you make those sales pop? Maybe it's even like newest, right? Like the newest.
Yeah, right. Or popular, or some kind of categorization. Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, very cool. So as we're here, maybe we can this is really like the layout of the Discord, and typically the challenges would live in current challenges. We're currently in past challenges. So if they're not lining up in your mind, and you're like, I've seen that, because it's true, you have seen that. So very cool. So that's the Discord, and you can find all of the current challenges that are unlocked for you on the Daily Creative Challenge page, landing page, and today we're going to unlock some pretty cool, you're going to get, have you ever done one of these, Brijhette? Have you ever seen anybody do one of these?
Yeah, I've not watched one of the live videos actually, but I was teaching a boot camp and I recommended my students to do them. And so we kind of did it collectively, but I've not watched before. So I'm curious to watch one.
They're very cool. They're very cool. You get the video and you also get a starter file once you actually like hit that. So really, you don't have to do much to get in with this. So I'm hoping everybody takes the opportunity and does some really awesome creative challenges this week. It's going to be fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so why don't we head back to your project, and we can talk about it a little bit more. We can just wrap it up and see where we're at.
Yeah, let's just check it out here. So we were kind of last talking about the images. So in the meantime, I kind of just broke these up. Broke up the artboards, and I'm just going to replace them right here. So bloop, whoops, not that. There we go. Just kind of replace them here so that they're all kind of broken up and we see all the differences. Another thing that I could have done to make this easier is I could have done I did it kind of the wrong way by habit. I could have done the repeat grid the other way, right? So now I'm doing it like, I'm kind of doing it a little bit out of order, but you could totally do the repeat grid. I'm just going to show you. You could just do it this way and then you have them ready, so that's kind of on me. Just FYI that you can do that. Yeah. So about how much time we got? I don't want to.
Yeah, we got about, let's say we got about like 10 minutes to wrap.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Nice.
Some time to get into anything. If anyone in the chat wants to kind of like ask any questions right off the bat to Brijhette and just ask, what's it like a day at Adobe?
Yeah, ask whatever you want. I'm here to chat about it.
Nice. Any creative plans in the works for the summer? Maybe not necessarily with Adobe, but for yourself, is there anything that you like to kind of fiddle around with as a designer?
Yeah, that is a great question. I don't have any, so I used to freelance all the time, but I don't do that as extensively anymore. So I don't have any like cool side projects really. But there are several websites that I do still maintain. And so I know that they have some updates coming up for the summer months. And then, of course, around pandemic messaging and things like that. So I'll probably be updating some of those. But yeah, mainly like my hobbies are more like coding or architectural photography. So I'll probably be doing some work there over the coming months or so. So yeah.
Well, that's actually a question that I see a lot in the chats
Cool.
around designers and the knowledge around coding. And so, how do you think that is do you feel like that is a necessity or something that a lot of starting designers, not just UX designers, but any type of design, should kind of put into their toolkit?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That is a great question. So, I mean, I just live the nerd life. And so I like coding, like strangely enough. But I don't, and I started learning coding actually in architecture school, doing kind of parametric design, which is essentially where you allow an algorithm to help you with the design process. So that's kind of how I got interested in coding. But I think that for a new designer, I don't think that you have to be, super, phenomenal at, coding. You as designers, we do often work with engineers. But I think that, I don't know, there's something about just the knowledge of how a website is structured or how the code works. It really does smooth over the conversations with engineers. And it just allows for a better collaboration, I think. And you can kind of know like, that is actually something that is, it's so easy for me to draw this circle in XD. But wait, how easy is that to code, And so it just kind of
really interesting. That's really, really interesting.
Lets you just remember that, So
yes.
Yeah.
You're like, this looks nice, but how much is it going to take to build it? Just like building a house, I'm sure, right? Or building a building, right? It's like, this looks great on paper. But actually someone's going to have to go in and build it. So
and build that. Exactly.
So just having the knowledge.
Kind of be aware of that. Yeah, for sure. Because
fascinating.
Yeah.
Paloma has some questions. Let's see.
Let's hear it.
Let's see. I am new to creating design, and I've learned so much and so fast with the Adobe Creative Challenge, and I love it. Yay. I would hope to get myself out there and start my own little design business. Any advice?
Aww, I love this question. That's great. So that is literally what I did. I had a pretty extensive job search after graduate school, and so a friend of mine actually told me, she said straight to my face, she said, do not wait for the world to validate you. Start your own thing. You have skills already that are better than you think. You may look at them and think, oh, I'm not a pro yet, this sucks, but someone could really benefit from that. So my advice would be to, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. I often recommend that people start on Fiverr or something that's kind of small, maybe like a $10 project, just getting practice. Maybe designing a small logo or designing a landing page or something small. But better yet is if you have someone in your family or in your friend circle who is wanting to start their own business. Maybe that's your first client, because it's kind of like lower risk. It's like, okay, this is my first project. They're paying you, so you can kind of keep it going, but it's not so much pressure. And I think that that's a great way to get started. Because, of course, as a designer, you're going to design your own website. I mean, that's probably, that's a given. So if you start with your first client being someone who is recommended to you, or maybe through something else, that can be a good way to kind of just get started low pressure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a great question.
Great question. Yeah. I'd add, yeah, like people, small businesses, people, nonprofits.
Yeah.
There's a lot of already existing spaces that don't have the funds or the means to maintain any type of marketing or web presence. And so there are really great places to start. But I think, do you have any advice in terms of freelancing too? Like actually maintaining your freelance, maybe not starting, but also kind of like keeping it going. Did you freelance for a while?
Yeah, 4.5 years. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think at some point when you're freelancing, you won't have to find clients for yourself anymore. Usually, I mean, you won't have to be as like, your work will start to, your clients will start to find clients for you, right? That's kind of what will happen over time. But I would say in the beginning, it's like kind of like I mentioned, like I started off on like doing small Fiverr projects, doing things for friends, and then that kind of built the portfolio. And so my friends would tell other people, and then those would become like a paying client, and then the paying client would tell another person, and that would become a higher paying client. So a lot of it can be organic, but I would say just on the general kind of platforms, there's Freelancer, there's Elance, there's Upwork, there's Fiverr, there's Simbi, which is kind of this symbiotic relationship, like bartering. There's all of these like websites where you can kind of keep the freelancing alive. And then there's also like, I know that these sites are becoming popular now with the pandemic, but there's sites like Flex Jobs, that are all remote, and they have like a freelance thing. There's of course LinkedIn. So the beginning, I think, is the hardest. Getting the first 2 or 3 clients, that is like, that's, I think, the hardest, at least it was in my case. But then after a while, those clients will start to speak for you, and the reviews will start to come in, and then you won't have to work. You won't have to hustle as hard to get just the basic stuff, So, yeah.
It's all about the hustle, like
all about the hustle. Yeah.
The hustle never really leaves you, even if you're set. You're still good to have that mentality of like always learning. Also,
always learning. Yeah.
That goes into a really good a question that Jenna kind of posed, and it was about assets and how platforms are growing or shrinking. So her example was Twitter so maybe having assets for things like Twitter or Instagram, and maybe things shifting like over to platforms like TikTok, other how things change and grow. And maybe her questions around like asset creation and maintaining. And I guess how do you...
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is an excellent, wow. So good. So, when I was freelancing, Illustrator was my main go-to app. XD wasn't, XD had maybe just started or was kind of still in its nascent stage, can't talk. So what I would do is I would just always have one master Illustrator file. And you can do that with XD or anything. And that's where I would have all of those sizes kind of available. Now, of course, having the sizes doesn't really show you how to design for those platforms, so I think what may help to design nicely for those platforms, like really good assets, is to, of course, look at examples of what other businesses are doing. You can see, actually, I remember one of the things I did is I followed the same company on every platform.
I see.
So then I can see like, okay, how are they messaging? Because maybe I don't use TikTok yet, for example, or maybe maybe I've never used Discord before. And so it's going to take me a while to like learn what is proper to share on Discord versus Slack versus this. But you can see how, like, say if you follow Best Buy or you follow Target, you can see how Target exactly does across everyone. You always see their ads, you always see their assets, and they give you ideas of being like, they do certain types of animations on Discord or on TikTok that they don't really do on Instagram. They use different language, and you can kind of get a feel for it, and then you can use that knowledge with your master file with all of the sizes already there. You start to merge it.
That's interesting. So just kind of keeping your finger on the pulse of what's happening and where things are moving is a part of the job, especially with asset creation.
Yes,
that was awesome. What a great answer. And a lot of people in the chat are really loving your advice, especially towards the end here. I think we only have a couple minutes left, so if we want to walk through kind of the last 2 days, or maybe if you just want to leave us with some good words, but it's up to you.
I can walk through.
It's been really great for I know the chat has been like crushing it with the good vibes, and
thank you.
I really appreciate your time here.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I feel so bad about the technical issues, but it's part of life. So not the first time or the last time it'll happen. So I think what I can do is I can quickly go through what we did yesterday, just very briefly. I should have the file here. So yesterday we looked on Photoshop and we found a nice template that was ready for us to design. By the way, you can do that by going here to create new, and then you'll start to see some templates up here. And you can see here the one that we used. Oops, the mobile one. So that's the one that we were using yesterday. You can see here. And what we did is we said, okay, we're going to kind of use this as a starting point, and we're going to try to animate this in XD. So the layers are turned off now. There they are. So you see these little curly cues on the side? There they are. Bloop, bloop. So we said, okay, we're going to bring this we're going to modify the template, so we got our image in there, we got some text, and we're going to bring that into XD, and we're going to make a GIF out of it. So I'll see if I can just briefly show that GIF. I may not have it anymore, but let's see. I don't have it here. But we made a little GIF of this, and it was super cute. I may have it in the recent files here. La la. So here was our little GIF that we just designed yesterday. Again, like a social media type of thing, just having fun with that. Really basic. Of course, you can get crazy with this. And we just, did something small. And then today we used a plugin called Google Sheets for Adobe XD. Let me head over to its website, this here, which you can download. And it allows you to bring in copy and images and other things right into your XD file. So we kind of had some fun making up some funny text here, making up some prices, and then bringing some of those into XD pretty quickly. So the text was already in for us, and all we had to do was just kind of, go through and kind of fix up some formatting issues. These colors are really silly. They're really, I would, if I had time, I would, we do something like really super cool. But the idea was to see that you can bring in the text and get stuff done really quickly if you had a bunch of these.
Yeah. And so, it's been really great. It's also we've talked a lot about how different platforms work with XD. We did a little work in Photoshop. We did a little work with this plugin with the actual spreadsheets, and so it's been great. And I really would like to say thank you to Brijhette for coming on Adobe Live and gracing us with her presence and all of her knowledge. And you can catch us here again on live every day. And we'll say goodbye for now. See you guys later.
Every day, all day. See you later.